Hello, Kelly. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, I can't hear you. Let's see here. Phone speakers. Okay. What's some people in here? Kelly, can you talk to me? I'm trying to figure out where my sound is going here.
Sure.
Oh, there you go.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yeah. I got these AirPods. I'm trying to use them, but I don't think it's gonna work. I can't figure it out.
That's shocking.
It isn't it though, right?
I know.
Shocking. And I just heard the sound coming from the computer, so I don't know what I did. It was working for a second. I'm gonna try one more second here while a couple more people join in. If it doesn't work, it's not the end of the world. Hopefully we'll figure it out eventually. I can't discover them though. I'm not sure why. Too high tech. They look good. They work with my phone anyway, so.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna figure this out right now. On everybody not change. Not even gonna try. Hello, Sherry.
I can't hear you guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you. No problem. You might have to change the output on your sound. That's what I just had to do. Okay, Kelly, I'm going to go ahead and cast this into the group. I know some people are going to check it out in there. I'm excited to go through here and ask you some questions and talk about your story a little bit more. Share it. Share to group. There we are. Okay. Preparing to live stream. How's everybody enjoying winter so far? Excited about
Not
it?
so much.
No?
No, I don't like the cold.
No.
Not at all.
Time to get the snowboards out. Skis, whatever you're doing. Okay.
I'll just stay on flat land.
Well, you ski, cross-country ski on flat land.
No.
No.
You're crazy.
Okay, so we're in the group here. We're live. Let's see if I can figure out where we're at. See some comments coming in here. I can never see that. Why is that? All right, 1 minute here and we'll be going. There we are. Okay. So I'll say hi in the chat there. Hopefully I can be able to go back and forth and pay attention to both. Normally I can't. I'm going to try and do that here tonight because Kelly's going to be doing some of the talking. Okay, so first of all, I want to announce something to everybody that's listening here and everybody that's listening through the group. I just got word of this today. I've been trying to figure this out for a bit, but we're going to sponsor a family through the group for Christmas. It's going to be a local family in Port aux Basques that was affected by the hurricane. And I'm not sure how much details I'm supposed to give out yet, but I do have a family picked out that someone picked out for us. They're in need. They do have some children. So I'm going to get a list of what they need, I'm hoping, and then we can just get people to buy it and send it to me, or they can give me money and I can go buy it and show them receipts, whatever we got to do, just to make sure that this family has a good Christmas. So I'll have some more information on that. Hopefully tomorrow. I have to reach out to someone. I've been talking to Brian Button about it. Brian just got back to me today with the information on who I need to reach out to. So pay attention for that coming up. And hopefully we can get some gifts gathered up. I know Wanda Pike has offered to help me do that. She has some experience doing that. I don't have much myself. So we'll put that together over the next few weeks. And it is something that I'm looking forward to doing. So something that we can really bring the group together, build a community, and really help support a family in need right now. Should be a fun event for all of us to get involved in. But like I said, I'll have some more information on that coming up soon. But I hope everybody's doing good. I hope nobody's froze to death. Nobody's enjoying winter so far. We just found out, but maybe you got your Christmas shopping started. I know I got a little bit started myself this week. So anybody else been out shopping yet for Christmas? Kelly, Patty?
Just for myself.
Just for yourself?
Yeah, I have myself almost finished.
Well, that's fine. You got to take care of yourself first, right? That's what got you this far. So
Got some family done.
got some family done. Perfect. Awesome. Okay. So we can welcome Kelly, first of all. Thank her for being here. So thanks, Kelly, for being here. Thanks for being such a kick-ass role model. You can throw a welcome in the chat or a thank you in the chat. Unmute yourself, whatever you want to do. I'm going to run through some questions here, and then we'll take you through the process of what Kelly's done so far, where we started, where we're at now, and then I can turn it over at the end for any questions that anybody has here inside of the Zoom, or anybody has anything inside of the group. I see Vicky is watching there for sure. She commented. Hello, Vicky. Okay, so first of all, welcome everybody. Welcome to you guys. This is our first client highlight, right? Like I said, with Kelly Chalk, and this is going to be something that I'm going to do more often as we move forward. And I couldn't really think of a better person to start this series off with than our own very own Kelly Chalk, because again, welcome her for being here and thank her for being here. But she's been such a kick-ass role model inside of the group ever since we have met. And we both have been lucky to meet each other, honestly, because she's really been that inspiration. But obviously she has her own story that she's going to share with us here tonight of all the things that she's accomplished and the journey that she's had so far. So without any more wasting of your time, hello, Kelly, and good day to you, friend. I'll start with a little background of this story very briefly, because like I said, I want to hear this from Kelly tonight in her own words, not mine so much. But Kelly took part in what I think was our third paid challenge, or a third challenge, free challenge back in January. Was it, Kelly? Is that the one, right?
I didn't really join that challenge. I just kind of tagged along.
Okay, so you weren't officially in it, but that's
No.
that's when you kind of found out about us anyway.
Yes, yeah.
Perfect. So you have fibromyalgia, I know, and before, well, not so much before the challenge, but before the program, it was literally sucking the life out of you, right? And you were in so much
Absolutely.
pain from being inflamed from that fibromyalgia that really she couldn't get out of her car after work some days, right? I think your husband might have even had to lift you in, like through the
Yeah,
door,
I
right?
used to have to actually use my hands to put my legs in the vehicle.
Yeah, right. It's
I
like
couldn't lift
physically
them.
lifting her own legs, right? And then came the program. And first thing, can you just tell us a little bit about your story, just the brief highlights, just allow for someone here today to just connect themselves to your story and see where you were at, and just briefly explain where you ended up here today, and then we can get into some more specifics. Okay?
Sure. So, I mean, I always struggle with weight, like, ever since I can remember. I was never like huge, but I was always chubbier, always bigger than my friends. So back in high school, of course, everybody wants to be smaller. So I started eating just once a day. I was never a breakfast person anyway, so cutting out lunch wasn't that big of a deal.
We're enjoying winter so far.
Got smaller, wasn't too bad. Then after high school came university, gained a little bit, still not too bad. Wasn't overly an active person, would go out dancing, that kind of thing, but that was pretty much it. Started myself to be smaller. Then I met my husband, started eating more because we were comfortable. But 9 years ago, I started getting pain in my knee, started having pain in my wrist, my elbow, everything just started hurting. Turned out that it was fibromyalgia. Progressively, it got worse and worse and worse, where I literally hurt from my neck down. Like everything was just a struggle. If I dropped something on the floor, I'd almost cry rather than pick it up because it was so hard to do. I mean, like I said, lifting my leg to get into the vehicle. If I was putting groceries away, putting them in the fridge, putting them in the cupboard, whatever, like my husband would have to pick me up because I couldn't get up myself. Getting up off the couch was a struggle. Getting out of bed was a struggle. Everything just hurt so bad. And I was at the end of my rope. I was gaining more weight because I couldn't move. I was sleeping pretty much my 2 days off. I'd set an alarm to be able to cook supper. I was that bad. And I knew I had to do something. And luckily I found this group.
Awesome. Great. Okay. Thanks for that. So tell us a little bit, if you don't mind, about what you've tried in the past, a little bit about maybe why that didn't work for you, knowing what you know now and what you didn't know before, if that makes sense. What was missing, kind of thing.
Well, the food was missing. So other than like just eating the one meal a day when I was younger, recently, probably within the last 5 or 6 years, I tried the old school Weight Watchers. I had the book from my mom from years ago. So I'm like, oh, I'll follow this. It worked for her. It'll work for me. And it did for a little while. Lost about 20 pounds. Starving. Had to eat something, and then you just fall off, right? You eat what you want for a couple weeks, gain the weight back, and you give up for a little bit till you get tired again. Then I tried 1,200 calories. That worked for a little bit. Got hungrier, ate food, gained weight back. Tried 1,000 calories, got hungry, vicious cycle. Luckily, I found this group.
Okay, awesome. Well, that leads into my next question. How did you find out about us originally? Because we didn't know who each other were a year ago, and I'd be pretty safe to say that we're pretty good friends now.
Yeah, for sure. I couldn't remember how I found out about this group. I knew somebody added me on Facebook, and I'm like, oh, that loss, I'll do that. But I was told that it was Michelle Park.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's my husband's cousin. So she informed me this summer that she was the one that gets all the credit for this.
She was very, very adamant to point that out, was she?
Yes, so there's your credit, Michelle, live on Facebook.
That's awesome. You get credit for the story, Michelle. There you go. Perfect. Okay, so what made you finally decide to make the investment and get a coach and decide to start working with us inside of the program? And if you had just heard about us, kind of thing.
I think it was probably like November when I first joined the group, and just watching just different people. I mean, the positivity in the group was really infectious. When you guys did that challenge in January, I just thought, well, I just kind of tag along on the sidelines and see what everybody's about. And I didn't know if I was going to be able to do my steps. I was in so much pain. I didn't know if I was going to be able to work out. The food part I knew I would follow, but everything else that went along with it, I was nervous over. So I thought about it, got myself a Fitbit at Christmas, went in, just try to test to see how many steps I was getting normally. Wasn't too bad. Thought, well, maybe I can do this, right? Try the workout, see what I can do. Spoke to Jody Spencer, who knew Adam, and told me about the success that Adam had. So I'm like, you know what? Screw it. What do I got to lose? I'll try it.
Cool. And can you share some of those? Well, first of all, some background story there. If anyone's wondering who Adam is, Adam Billard is the winner of my first challenge that we had back. Oh God, that must almost a couple years ago now. But he really shed some weight and changed his life around, and really his blood sugar levels, blood work got so much better than it had been for years. That he's really changed his life, and he's living in the gym now and building muscle all the time. It's a pretty good story in its own. But share some, please, if you don't mind, some of the initial wins that you've seen for yourself inside of the program. Like, what was the first thing you noticed? Because I know, like, it was a long journey, obviously, from getting through that pain of just getting out of the car to where you are today, right? You're doing a lot.
Oh,
today.
absolutely.
So just share some of those initial wins, though, what you first saw inside
I
of the
think
program.
the first thing I noticed was I was at work one day and I dropped something on the floor and I picked it up and I got back up. And I'm talking to one of my friends and I'm like, in the break room, and this one guy who doesn't really know my whole, backstory kind of thing. We're talking about how I dropped something up and I picked it up and how I can squat down and I can get back up. And my friend's making this huge deal over it. And I'm just like, I know, it's amazing, isn't it? And he's just looking at us like we're crazy, like toddlers do this all the time. Like, why are you guys so excited? But it was just that huge for me that I can do that, right? And I mean, in the first, I'd say 2-3 weeks, my pain level was cut in half just from cutting out the gluten.
Wow.
Like I joined because I thought the weight loss would ease the pain, right? But it ended up, it was the food that I was eating, or, and what I wasn't eating. That was my main problem. I had lost like 2 or 3 pounds in that first few weeks and I felt way better. So
Yeah,
obviously it wasn't the weight that I had on that was causing the most of my problem, right?
Yeah, so we talked about a lot at the start of the program, right? Like we do with everyone, we focus on our gut health first, right? And that was a lot of the lessons that you learned first. A lot of the education that we taught you was the potential for triggers and what those triggers can do to your body. And that first initial 2 to 3 pounds that people lose a lot of the time is just that actual inflammation, right? It's not even fat loss. It's actually just inflammation loss. And it starts in your stomach. And if you're keep feeding your stomach those foods that are causing that inflammation, your joints and that aches and those pains are only going to get worse. And it was really, really crazy how quickly your body turned around when we eliminated that gluten.
Yeah, it was
Because-
crazy. Like I didn't even need naps anymore.
Yeah, it was insane.
Right?
It just completely
Yeah.
turned you right around. Sure. Because I mean, with having fibromyalgia, like, can you share how you were able to navigate from, like you said, being nearly crippled after work to doing what you do now? Because I mean, I don't know if you don't know, Kelly gets 20,000 steps a day, basically for a joke because of her job. She's on her feet all day. And right now she's working out 4 days a week on a legit fucking powerlifting program, barbell deadlift, squats, bent over rows, single leg split squats with dumbbells in her hands. She's got her rear foot elevated when she's doing those. Like, how did that transformation happen to be able to do that? I imagine you're going to mention again, like your gut health and the gluten, right? But can you take us through that process? Because it seems pretty daunting, I'm sure, to someone else who has fibromyalgia right now.
Yep. And when you first told me that I was going to have to do workouts, I was like, there's no way. But I told you I wouldn't say no. So I told you I'd try. And my first squat, I literally may have gotten down an inch, if that. But I did 12 3 times
Yeah.
every day because you told me to. And after 2 weeks, those squats got a little bit lower. I believe it took me 3 weeks before I can get all the way down, which was amazing.
Yeah.
That I can squat all the way down within 3 weeks. Because I didn't even think I would ever get to that point ever. Like I didn't think I'd be there now, let alone within 3-4 weeks, right? I mean, I didn't use heavy weights. I used body weight for most of it. I found dumbbells for certain things, nowhere near heavy. But I mean, now I'm deadlifting 70 pounds. I'm squatting 60. Like I still got to take it easy because of my joints and stuff. But I mean, I'm building up far more than what I ever thought I could.
Definitely. And are you ever hungry? I mean, you're eating a lot of food right now. I bet you are sometimes because your metabolism is literally burning inside of you.
Yeah.
But it's not like just, can you talk about the contrast in those 1,000-calorie diets and those 1,200-calorie diets compared to the sustainability of what you're doing now?
Surprisingly, when I was starting myself, I wasn't really hungry until I started eating. And then my body was like, oh, food, I remember you, give me more. And then I would eat way more than what I needed because I was starving all day. Now I get hungry. Like I could never understand when people would say, oh, I'm getting so hungry, I got to eat. I never knew what that felt like until now. Now that my body is used to getting the food and getting the fuel, now I actually get hungry. So like every 2 to 3 hours, I'm like, oh, it's break time. I got to eat. I'm burning through it. I didn't have a metabolism. Now I got one.
You're using the food for fuel, and you're using that fuel
Exactly.
for stuff you're doing in your day.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so I'm sure someone watching this right now or later on, they're going to be thinking, but she's tracking all of her food all the time, right? And it sounds so restricting. I could never do that. It's not sustainable. After I first say the whole point of tracking is to make sure that you're eating enough, what would you say to them? Maybe explain how hard it's going to be to put the weight on after the program because of how much food you're eating now, right?
Yeah. So like I'll use when I went home for the Newfoundland summer for my vacation as an example. You up my calories because you thought I was going to be eating more food or whatever. You told me to make sure that I got my protein. That's the only thing that you told me to make sure I got was enough protein. So I made sure I got enough protein. I had chips. I had gluten-free cake. You know, I had little treats, but I didn't have only that. I ate healthy breakfast. I ate a healthy lunch. I ate a healthy supper, and then I had snacks. And after the 2 weeks was up, I weighed myself and I was down a pound. So it's completely sustainable. I track because I know if I don't, I'm probably not going to get enough protein and fat because those are always the foods that I struggle with eating. They're always the taboo foods, right? So it to me, like this is something that I could do for the rest of my life. The workouts, I do them on days when I know I can 100% do those workouts. I may not get the 20,000 steps a day, but I mean, I'll get at least 12 to 15. which is just healthy living. You know, I'm never gonna go back to eating McDonald's and KFC every day for supper. Not that I ever did before, but you know, I'm always gonna make sure I eat breakfast now. I'm always gonna make sure I eat a healthy lunch. I'm gonna make sure I eat a healthy supper. And if I do all those things, then I know I'm not gonna gain the weight back because my body is gonna have the fuel that it needs, the nutrition that it needs to keep me going, where I'm not gonna need to binge on crap.
Love it. You've learned so much. It's awesome. And what you said about the taboo foods, however you want to say it, thinking that fats were unhealthy before, right? And now you're just short on them and you're trying to get more in you, where before you were living this life of being scared of something, right? It's just the misinformation that's out there. I just want to make a note of that. It's cool to hear you say that. What would you say are your big wins then? The biggest change or most important change for you so far since you started till now?
Originally I would have thought I would have said my 50-pound weight loss, but it's definitely the pain level being pretty much gone. Like went from a level 10 to 1, 2, and not even every day. Like certain things will still, you know, trigger me out if I'm doing something too many times. I'll still get a little bit of a pain, but nothing like it used to. And my recovery is a lot faster now. Like I would be like weeks to months getting over an injury, and now it's sometimes just a few hours.
Awesome.
It's night and day. Like I don't even know what to say, really. It's just such a huge difference. Like I know I would have been in a wheelchair in a couple years if I didn't do this program. It's amazing.
And it's crazy because you've looked for help before, right? I know.
Yeah.
I keep coming back to saying you've been to doctors and you've tried the things, and it really came down to just the food that you're putting in your body, right? Like it was,
Well, yeah, because you go to a doctor and they say, well, you know, drink more water, but they don't tell you how much. But you told me how much. You know, eat more fiber and have more fiber in your diet, have more fruits and vegetables, and have more this, more of that. But they don't tell you how much. You told me exactly how much of whatever it was I needed to eat, and I did it, and it worked.
awesome.
Right. And if something wasn't working for me, you changed it so it did.
And you've listened. You've right from
I
day one,
listened.
you told me whatever I told you to do, you've done it. I can't stress that enough because it's been so easy to coach you. It was such a joy.
Well, see, the
Uh,
thing is, I mean, I joined up with you to help me. So if I'm not doing what you're suggesting I do, I'm not doing either one of us any favors, right? I'm paying you to pretend that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do and I'm not. You know what I mean? Like, what's the point in that?
Yeah, you're looking at yourself in the mirror. You're not looking at me in the mirror when you're going to bed.
Exactly.
You're getting up.
Right. And I mean, I want me to be better. I know you want me to be better, but I want me to be better more so than anything, right?
For
Because I
sure.
mean, if you don't have your health, you got nothing. Like I didn't even want to leave the house.
Awesome. So someone who's watching this on the fence right now, go jumping into the program, or taking advantage of the Black Friday sale, what would you say to them?
Do it. It's the best money you'll ever spend. If you're not going to spend it on yourself, what the hell are you going to save it for? Like I read something a long time ago, and it was something along the lines of, you know, we work our entire lives and we save money for our retirement so we can enjoy life. Or how many stories do you hear of people once they retire, they're sick? You know, oh my gosh, what a terrible thing to happen. You know, he can't even enjoy his retirement. She can't enjoy her retirement because such and such a thing happened. I mean, it happens so often. And I don't want that to be me. And I'm sure people don't want it to be them either. So, I mean, invest in yourself. What's an RRSP going to do for you if you're 6 feet under, or if you're crippled up and you can't leave your house? Right? It's not going to do anything for anybody. You can't take care of your family. And that was my excuse. You know, I can't spend the money on me because I have a son. You know, I want to do for him. I want to, you know, I want to make sure that I'm doing this, that, and the other thing. But if I didn't take care of myself, I couldn't do any of that for anybody else. Now, like, if you want to move, I can help you move. You know, I can do whatever. Like, I can do anything that I want right now. Nothing's holding me back.
And so that brings me to like your family and your relationships around you. I would imagine they had to have improved, right? Like imagine your time with your family must be a lot more enjoyable now, knowing that you could even do something as simple as going out and shooting basketball with your son, right? I mean,
Yeah.
no matter how good you are or whatever,
Yeah,
right?
it doesn't happen too often because he is a 14-year-old boy, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I can do it if I want to. Like when I went home this summer, normally I would just be sat on a couch, not being able to move. I went for a walk every day, sometimes twice a day with my sister-in-law or with my niece. We got out and we enjoyed our visit, when I can stay up and watch a movie. That's one thing my son noticed. He's like, wow, mom, you can watch a movie now. Because I would always fall asleep before like the opening credits were over. But I mean, I'm staying awake now. It's amazing. It's such a better quality of life that I have right now.
And I mean, we're here, and it's most of the questions. I don't know if anybody has a question in the Facebook group or someone here live has one. But we're just talking about the basics, right? We do talk about gut health. It can be a little bit more complicated, trying to figure out your triggers, trying to figure out what you need to eat to make you feel good. But outside of that, it's water, it's proteins, the things I was talking about in my video yesterday, walking, a little bit of resistance training, and just consistency. Staying away from those processed foods really, really is a big part of this, right? Is there any questions from the audience right now? Anybody here in, so we got the chat going. Let's go back there. I'd say you're frozen, Kelly, with all your weight off. I missed that one earlier. Patty's listening. Just amazing, Kelly. Just amazing. Second cup, everything Kelly says about the pain levels, energy, napping is all true. I don't know if Patty is here available to talk right now. I know she's picking up Jake, but she went through the same thing with fibromyalgia, right? She couldn't get down the stairs without a cane in the morning after getting out of bed, and we'll probably do one of these on her as well. But it's the same thing, right? Coming down to gut health, coming into that inflammation, and you can't really get past it, right? If your gut is out of whack, if your body's fully inflamed, you can't just fight through it, can you, Kelly? Because it literally
No, not at
drags
all.
you down.
Exactly.
hear
And I
me?
mean, when you know your triggers, you've got to stay away from your triggers.
I heard you that time,
Because
Patty. Yeah.
way back, when you told me to cut out gluten, so I did. But then I went to the protein and I was eating those protein up wraps because they seem fine. I felt so much better cutting out everything else that those protein wraps, I didn't think they were bothering me until I couldn't get them one day. I had gone like a month or so without them,
I
and
remember
then I
that.
had a half one, and then I suffered for like a week or two.
Yeah.
So I'm
I
like, yeah,
remember you
done.
messaging me that day. You're like, I'll never
Yep.
eat these fucking protein wraps again.
Yeah.
And you
And then the
haven't.
summer I had gravy on my fries that had flour in it, and I suffered. So
It's
yeah,
crazy what that can do.
I'll never have it again. It's not worth it.
We
And you
do
don't
have a
realize
question.
how good you feel until you bring something back in that's bothering you.
Yeah.
And then you realize, no, that's poison.
And it's the same. A lot of people don't realize how bad they feel until they start feeling better,
Mhm.
right? It can go both ways.
Yeah.
We do have a question from Deneen. She's wondering, what did you find the toughest thing to change?
That's a hard question.
The live ones, right? Those are the ones I get.
Yeah. I would say just disciplining myself for the workouts, figuring out what days work best for me, because in the beginning I definitely could not work out after work. So it had to be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. And just finding the time on those days and everything else that I had to do in life, housework, laundry, grocery shopping, all that kind of stuff, just trying to fit it all in. It took a little while, but I mean, now I'm like a pro.
That I got another question which leads into
Yeah.
that. Like being such a pro, we've had people coming on and talking about motivation and just finding your why. What is it that has made you just be able to keep going with this? Like, I don't want to say perfectly, but like just so consistently since we started.
Well, I have a picture just right over here on my wall of me it's the Christmas before I joined up with you. And I look at it and I was miserable and I don't want to go back.
Perfect. So we started, I'm going to go off some numbers off the top of my head here now. Just kind of talking about the program, how we went from, I think you were eating maybe 1,500 calories when we started.
Mhm.
This was 50 pounds ago. Remember when you were 205 pounds, right? I mean, now that still wouldn't be enough, but back then it was nothing. We slowly reverse diet, or that's what we do in the program, right? We work on your gut health, then we reverse diet you as high as we can get you. And I believe we got nearly up to 2,600, pretty close. I think maybe
Almost
25,
24, I think, and I
24,
just
20,
I
yeah.
couldn't eat no more.
Go to
I was so full. I remember
but
when you put me to 2,000, I was just like, oh my God, he's gonna go higher. I
yeah,
can't do it. I can't do it. And now it's like I'm at 2,000 calories for the last 2 weeks, and I'm just like, give me the food.
yeah, exactly, right. So I mean, now we're at 154, 155 pounds, tinkering back and forth. But we're eating 2,000 calories and we're maintaining right now, even losing some days. But the point is, we are maintaining the metabolism and rebuilding the metabolism for the second cup, which now is going to be at maybe 1,800 calories. And she's going to lose weight, where she was 205 pounds before and was not losing weight at 1,500 calories because of these yo-yo diets that she had done before, right? It's the same story that we see, and it's the same problem that other people have when they're eating those 1,200 calorie diets and they just can't lose weight. They feel like shit. They can't stay up all night to watch a movie like you, right? Because you weren't eating enough food to support your day. So we got to look at food as fuel and proper fuel, but just make sure that we're getting enough of the right kind of foods, right? To
Exactly.
support your day, support your goals, and just help you live that life that you want, right? With energy and just enjoying your life. But that was amazing. Is there any other questions from inside of the Facebook group or inside of here in the Zoom? I don't see any right now. How's the chat
I
doing
will
here?
add one thing though, with the food. Everybody says, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that. There's so many things that I didn't really like. I ate them because they were good for you, but I didn't like them. Broccoli would be one of them. And now I love broccoli. It's amazing when you take the crap food out that tastes so good, but when you take that out of your diet and introduce healthier foods, eventually those foods are the foods that you crave and you enjoy them.
It does happen. Hey, I always tell the story about the baby carrots, and I'm sure you heard it when we started, right? When I was away, when I used to go away working, it would be baby carrots. I guess because there's a little bit of sugar in there, maybe, but it was something healthy that I was eating every day. And then I would wake up in the morning, my body would go, okay, where are the baby carrots, the sugar carrots, I was going to call them, but the baby carrots, right? And I mean, you're on some programs, you're not like carrots, but we won't get into that right now. That's another story for another day. But Patty, I don't know if you wanted to say something. I did hear you there earlier. You were cutting in and out, but she does second everything. Oh, yep, there she is.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, I'm sitting in my car on Water Street waiting for Jake. So everything that Kelly was saying, I was going, yep, like talking to myself, because the pain was so bad. I was lying in bed, stiff as a board, covered in a electric blanket, just trying to like get through my day. And my pain now from fibro is, like Kelly, 1 or 2 for sure. But like her, you still got to watch it, because I know certain things will set me off, but I don't stay sore and painful for extended periods of time anymore, which is really good. Other than like when I injure something specifically, it's been night and day. Just can't even believe the difference.
And I mean, like you went from 2 pounds. What are we at now? We're going to be soon pushing 20-pound dumbbells, probably. You're using 15s, I know for sure.
I was at I was up to 17 and a half, but then when I hurt my back and I was out of the gym for like 4 weeks, I guess. So now I'm dropped back down to 15 for some things, but.
And quick lesson for everybody: how did you hurt your back? From doing too little or too much?
That would be too much.
Too much.
I went to the gym like 5 days a week, and I was really pushing it hard, because I think I just got a little bit of addicted to it there for a little while, and I hurt my SI joint and my sciatic nerve. So
important to, especially in these fibromyalgia cases, making sure that that rest of recovery is applied at all times as much as possible. And
Right.
making sure that we're taking time to take care of ourselves on the back end.
Because
Just
if
like-
not, you're going to get a setback and then you're going to have to like restart. So I've been very careful. I'm only going to the gym like 3 days a week right now. Watching what exercises I do, watching my weight really closely. Today was really good. I'd say today I was a 9 out of 10 for sure in like how I felt. So it was
Amazing.
good.
Cool. Thanks for that, Patty, as well. One more question here from Jackie. She just piped in with, what do you take to work for lunches? Kelly?
So I'm addicted to overnight oats now.
Is that my fault, or did you eat oatmeal before? Because
I didn't love oatmeal and I didn't like overnight oats when I first tried it, but I tried putting in the vanilla protein powder with coconut and it's like the best thing. It's so good. Last week I was doing a bunch of salads, but my salads are massive and I just can't take a huge mixing bowl of salads to work with me. So I just cut it up real small so it all fits in. It takes me like a half an hour to chew. It's so much food. Or I'll do like a sandwich or just, sometimes I'll just take leftovers. I always got freezer meals there. So if I'm in a rush, I'll just grab something from there. Plug it all into my MyFitnessPal. If it fits my macros, I'm good to go. Just makes it so much easier too when I do it the night before, because now I don't have to look around like, well, what I'm gonna have for lunch. I already got a plan out. I just grab what I have written in there. So
do you meal prep, Kelly?
yeah,
What nights
tomorrow's
do you
meal
meal
prep
prep?
day. Usually on Wednesdays. I always got frozen veggies in the freezer. I always have cooked chicken breasts in the freezer. Shrimp, just a bunch of different proteins. There's always something that's could be ready within a half an hour if it's not already pre-cooked. So
Awesome. You're welcome, Jackie. Jackie said thanks. And I don't think there's any other questions inside of the group. Okay. Well, this was our first client highlight with Kelly. And again, I want to thank you for being here, Kelly. I want to thank you for sharing your story. I want to thank you for being such a great inspiration for everybody and really pushing everybody to be their best self inside of the group every day. Really do appreciate you being in there. We had some good questions there. We do have the Black Friday deal. We're giving away 3 months of a gym membership. We're giving away a bottle of protein and a free month of coaching at our best rates yet. So anybody listening that wants to get in on that, where we had 10 spots when we started, we've got 5 left. So
I got one.
She's got one. And there you go. So, and don't forget, like I just mentioned earlier at the start of this call, a serious thing, we're doing a family sponsor for Christmas. And I'm going to know more about it tomorrow. I'm not going to know exactly what we're going to need tonight or anything, but I think we're going to have a list of items that they're going to want. Maybe you can pick an item off the list. That's kind of how I want to do it. And then you can just send it to me and we can do it that way. But I will have some more information on that. If not tomorrow, it'll be the next day. So last time, thanks for being here, Kelly. Thanks for sharing all that. If anybody's looking for any more help inside of the group, just reach out to us. We're always around. Have a great rest of your Tuesday night, and we will see everybody soon.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Kelly. Bye.